You're watching the station that's working for you. Now, WMAR-2 News at 11.
And just what you want, more screen time. Well, thank you for letting us on your screen here at 11. I'm Jamie Costello. Here we are, the first day of school. It's over, but the fight to get our kids back in the classroom, it's just getting started. We have team coverage for you tonight. WMAR-2 News' Ray Strickland standing by in Baltimore with a look at how the digital divide is impacting students in the city. But first, we want to check in with Eddie Kadam, who is at a rally to reopen in Annapolis, and he shows us why some parents and kids feel they're ready for in-person learning.
On the first day of the fall semester, many students were at home. Frustration drove parents out for this Reopen Maryland Schools protest in Anne Arundel County.
We had our first day of online learning, and it wasn't great. It was bad. Yeah. Bad. Yeah, we didn't like it. Computer learning just doesn't work for this age, and I have to work. I'm a nurse.
One of our speakers tonight has had the coronavirus, so he talks about it being a bad cold. I know two people actually who say it's just like a bad cold. It is like the flu, and we certainly don't shut school down because of the flu.
Experts say COVID-19 is deadlier than the flu. It's also more contagious, which is one of the reasons some districts decided to stay virtual for now. Adam Wyndham is the father of a student with special needs. He says that he's considering pulling his daughter out of school.
Our children, especially my daughter, she needs that in-person instruction, that support, those services in the school. That can't be replaced in the virtual environment. She needs constant hand-on-hand. She needs that constant direct adult support to model her eye-gaze communication device and to hopefully teach her how to walk.
A lot of these parents and students say schools weren't prepared to go online for the end of last year and still aren't now. Governor Larry Hogan recently suggested that all Maryland school districts reopen because of a drop in positivity rate and key metrics.
I think it's a mistake to give the individual counties this much leverage to decide. Look, there's a lot of confusion out there as to what the governor's plan is and reopening and other policies around it, and then what the individual counties have opted to do.
Some high school seniors stopped by the rally to say they don't feel ready to head back.
Especially if we had all of the kids back at the same time, cases would spread like crazy. I watched some of my friends catch it in the beginning of quarantine, and I just don't think it's too serious to risk it right now.
Virtual class continues for now as some hope to return soon. In Annapolis, Eddie Kadam, WMAR-2 News.
And remember, the governor is offering incentives for districts that transfer into some type of in-person learning by the end of the first quarter. He was in Caroline County today, where they are taking a hybrid approach and welcome some of the students back to campus. All right, this was the first day of virtual learning for many students in the Baltimore area, but we found out that some kids still do not have laptop or reliable access to the internet. WMAR-2 News' Ray Strickland is live at Baltimore City School headquarters tonight. He continues our team coverage. And Ray, despite all of the effort to give kids the tools they need, the digital divide still impacting their ability to learn.
And Jamie, we've been reporting on this problem from the very beginning of the pandemic, 6 months later, and even now on the first day of virtual learning classes, the digital divide is still affecting students.
Yes, thank you so much. All right, thank you.
As tens of thousands of students gear up for a virtual start to the fall semester in Baltimore, some of them still don't have access to the internet or laptops.
We have to fix this.
Lisa Moloch made it her mission since the beginning of the pandemic to close the digital divide. She's the founder of Let's Thrive Baltimore. The organization has donated more than 500 tablets to students in need.
At this point, every child should have a digital device.
It was big for me.
One of the students Moloch helped was DeMontez Walton, a freshman at Digital Harbor. He says it would have been nearly impossible to attend the first day of classes if Moloch didn't give him a tablet.
Because without the tablet, I wouldn't have been able to do no work.
Tools that they need to participate.
And Moloch says that is the reality for many students. She says despite the city and school district providing tens of thousands of laptops and internet hotspots to students, there's still a gap leaders need to address.
Few devices have been delivered, but there's a lot of children that still does not have a digital device. Here you go.
Moloch, who spent the day passing out energy saver kits to help families save money due to virtual learning, says she's hoping something is done before too many students get left behind.
We're not getting it right. We're not getting it right. And our children shouldn't have to suffer for this. I'm an advocate for these children, and I'm an advocate hard for these children.
And we did reach out to the school district here to get a sense of how many students don't have a laptop or access to the internet at this hour. We're still waiting to get that information, but I can say the district CEO said today that for families who do not have a laptop, they can reach out to their school's principal because, as she said, more are expected to come in. Reporting live tonight outside of Baltimore City headquarters, Ray Strickland, WMAR-2 News.
All right, thanks a lot there, Ray. Baltimore City Public Schools held a ribbon-cutting event this morning for its first 2 net zero schools, Graceland Park, O'Donnell Heights, and Hollowbird Academy, expected to produce as much energy as they use every year.
These schools also represent a huge step forward in innovation for city schools as the first and second zero net energy schools in Baltimore City Public Schools, and only the second and third zero net energy schools in the state.
Wow. Now, the energy at the 2 schools is generated by 1,300 solar panels up there on the roof, and the schools should save between $15,000 and $35,000 a year in energy cost. We have an officer with the Havre de Grace Police Department under investigation at this hour. Authorities say Philip Pachoco assaulted someone at a restaurant in Bel Air while he was off duty late last month. He is now facing charges and is suspended while the Harford County Sheriff's Office continues to investigate. And Arundel County Police are now arrested the man that they say stole a car with 2 young children inside. It happened Friday night at the Exxon right there on Ritchie Highway in Pasadena. Police say Ronald Benitez stole the car when a woman stepped out of it. The car was recovered a short distance later that night, and the 2-year-old and the 6-month-old boys were inside, and they were both okay. Police have now arrested the man accused of hitting 3 bicyclists with his truck. This happened last month on Eastern Avenue in the city. Authorities arrested Brian Adams of Red Lion, Pennsylvania this afternoon. He's now in jail in York County as he waits to be extradited back here to Maryland. Once back here, he'll face attempted murder and assault charges. You know, if Edgar Allan Poe once stayed at your place, then you know it's old. Well, the demolition of the old Baltimore City, now detention center, continued today, the Baltimore City Jail. You'll remember the demolition project really started back in October of last year, and city officials plan to build a new therapeutic facility right there in its place. And city officials say the 14-month-long demolition project is expected to cost $27.5 million. And the prison was long known for its corruption and poor conditions for employees and prisoners.
Well, it's been an interesting day across the country with triple-digit temperatures out in portions of California and the West. And then, of course, snow and freeze advisories in the Rockies, as we've seen one of the earliest snows so far already occurring in portions of the West. And then showers and thunderstorms trickling across the Central Plains. Closer to home, things are a little bit quieter here, not tracking any rain in the state of Maryland, but some showers down to our south, off of the coast. The tropical system, a disturbance, bringing some rain into portions of South Carolina near Charleston, into Wilmington and Fayetteville and Raleigh, North Carolina, pushing all the way towards Greensboro. But closer to home, skies are looking clear here. 73 degrees right now, east-northeasterly breeze at 3 miles per hour. Dew points in the low 70s, expecting the temperatures to fall into the mid to upper 60s through the overnight hours. Heading into the day tomorrow, we're looking at cloud cover and rain, both of which are going to combine to keep temperatures a little bit cooler than we got today. I'll break down who should see rain and how much coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, next on the news at 11, you know, when people ask, why do you hang on to the Baltimore Colts? Well, maybe this hour-long tear-jerker of a documentary will show you why there will always be ghosts on 33rd. And you know our angel Mo Gabba will be at the Ravens game on Sunday. Keep your eyes on the corner end zone and you will see our super fan. Anne Arundel County has a new interim chief of police, and we got a chance to speak with him today. Chief Bill Lowry became an officer back in 1973. He's worked in Prince George's County for 27 years, and he says he wants to simplify a job he believes has become way too complicated.
I'm a very simple man. 3 things are important to me: my family, my work, and God. I absolutely love this job. I love public service. I was brought up that way with my mom and dad.
And Lowry also says he's a big supporter of the First Amendment and says he will support any legal protest, but he says he'll take action when protests turn into riots. All right, Baltimore County Councilman Julian Jones introduced the new police reform bill tonight. He called it the Smart Policing Act, and it stands for strengthening, modernization, accountability, reform, and transparency. It also includes several proposed policies, including a ban on chokeholds and neck restraints unless a life is at risk. If signed into law, the police department would no longer to be able to hire officers with past disciplinary issues.
The Smart Policing Act is about progress. It's about reform, and it's about a united next step forward in our ongoing fight toward equal justice.
This is an opportunity for us to make our police department better, to make sure the expectations from the citizens are lined up with the expectations and the service that they receive from the police department.
And this current proposal is an expanded version of a bill that Jones brought forward a few months ago, but that legislation was tabled in July. A nonprofit group says the majority of recent Black Lives Matter protests were peaceful. The report comes from the Armed Conflict Location and Event Data Project. It says between late May and late August, 93% of the nearly 8,000 protests were peaceful. Most areas that saw riots also saw several other peaceful demonstrations. The group collected information from the media as well as the governmental and non-governmental agencies. Well, new tonight, on Sunday, when the Ravens start the strangest season of all time. You know, no fans, of course, but in this case, we have to allow one fan in, Mo Gaba. Mo left us back in July for heaven, but he will be there on Sunday, corner end zone. You see, 575 Mo cutout cardboards will be filling section 146. Buying and pushing the cardboard cutouts for Mo Rose is my man Chris Ruling.
Section 146 was a fitting number because not many people know this, but his favorite number was the number 6. So it was one city for number 6 Mo. So it was just a perfect tie-in for it. I think that by having him in the stands, it just goes to show that if you live your life like that, you'll be remembered forever.
And it took him 5 days to sell out the section, and the money raised will go to the Ravens to support several charities. So let's look at Mo coming up Sunday. Hey, listen, when you drive down close to where Memorial Stadium once stood, you won't see the lights, and you can still hear the roar from our Sunday afternoons at 2. You can still feel the ghost of 33rd. And finally, there's a documentary that explains to a generation why we loved our Colts and why we can love again. Listen to Mary get a chance to tell Lenny more about her mom sitting in the second row when Lenny is running right at her section.
And she had just poured herself a cup of coffee. I said, and you were going to be barreling into her, and she didn't know whether to hold on to her coffee or drop the coffee and hug you. And he looks at me, he goes, well, what did she do? I said, she dropped her coffee. You're Lenny Moore.
Yeah, baby, she teared up. Lenny teared up when he heard the story. You're going to tear up as the documentary hits just in time for the Ravens home opener. Filmmaker Troy Lauman, I mean, he captures the heart and soul of the city when it's deeply in love in football, and he explains why we love the Ravens so. Ghost of 33rd Street, streaming soon. The Reginald F. Lewis Museum is expected to reopen to the public coming up on Thursday, and those who go will be able to check out a new exhibit called Freedom Bound, Runaways of the Chesapeake. And these are some of the pictures of that new exhibit. Everybody who works in and visits the museum has to wear a mask, of course, and there are new hours and signs to help direct the traffic flow of visitors, and you'll also have to observe social distancing throughout the building. Well, 2 library systems in our area are going to allow you back into their branches. The first, Anne Arundel County Public Library. You can now set up in-person appointments at the 16 branches to find materials or use a computer. You'll have to wear a mask, practice social distancing. And then on September 21st, Carroll County Public Library will reopen its branches for limited services, and visitors there will also again have to wear masks and keep your social distance.
And now from WMAR-2 News, Maryland's most accurate forecast.
We've been raving about high pressure dominating the forecast for this 3 to 4 day weekend for some folks celebrating Labor Day. We've seen lots of sunshine and dry skies, but that's all going to start to change as we head into the day tomorrow. We're looking at a system that's going to start to bring some showers in. The good news, this isn't going to be heavy rain. This is going to be more stratiform, so more light and almost continuous across widespread areas for the day tomorrow. I think the best chance of seeing some of those showers are going to be along and south of I-95, and as we head towards Thursday, well, that's going to be the day where we see things a little bit more unstable. We're looking at a front that's going to be sliding down, this tropical moisture moving northward. I'm expecting a couple of thunderstorms. The good news, all indications are that the severe weather risk is going to be on the very low end. So not expecting a day like last Thursday, but expecting it to be a little bit damper than what we get on Wednesday. The good news, behind that front, temperatures are going to be returning to where they were last weekend. There's rain chances sprinkled into the forecast this weekend, but the temperatures are going to look pretty nice. We're talking about struggling to get into the 80s as we head towards the weekend. But let's get you through the next 24 hours where we are looking at this tropical disturbance that's going to bring some moisture into the southeastern portion of the country. And I think that's going to lead to our rain chances as we head into the afternoon and evening. Here's a look at how things play out. Look at 7 a.m. We're just looking at cloudy skies building, showers staying mainly to our south. But as we head into the afternoon, that's where some of that moisture starts to lift a bit further northward. Our southernmost counties picking up on some of that rain through the afternoon and early evening, and as we head into the late night hours, we'll start to see essentially the heating of the sun start to leave, and that's going to lead to the rain starting to evaporate essentially. So here's a look at the out-the-door forecast where we are tracking rain chances in the forecast. You want to have the umbrella on standby, not expecting it to be overwhelming, but Thursday's the better rain chances. Showers present for the morning drive, and as we head into the afternoon, that's where we start to see some of these red dots. That's going to equal some of those isolated thunderstorms where we see the potential to see some heavier rain. Otherwise, looking at light to moderate rain across the area through the 11 o'clock hours and into the overnight, into the start of your Friday. Now, we're watching the tropics because we're watching that disturbance off the eastern seaboard. Has about a 30% chance of developing over the next few days. But then we're looking at Paulette and RENE. Tropical storm Paulette, the winds have weakened a little bit to 60 miles per hour, still moving to the northwest at 9. That forecast has it generally making its way towards the states. We'll have to watch it as we head into next week, as that could start to kick up some wave action and we could see some impacts. Tropical depression RENE, that's a new update here. No longer a tropical storm, weakening. You can see it not looking impressive at all. That's going to continue to move on off to see mainly being a maritime issue. 7-day forecast where, of course, your weekend is in view shows the temperatures eventually will take a dip into the 70s. Rain chances return late Saturday into your Sunday. Temperatures decreasing by Tuesday. We're looking sunny with highs near 77.
Wash your hands 30 seconds, then rinse. Stay inside so you don't get sick.
Well, this school year looks a lot different, and it sounds a lot different too. Baltimore City school students make it so. What it took to make this unique music video coming up. The owner of a business in Pigtown wants you to know that the restaurant is still open even after a crash there over the weekend. The driver of a white Mercedes jumped the curb, backed into Breaking Bread right there on Washington Boulevard on Saturday. The driver then took off. The damaged area was all boarded up, and the owner says she is not going to let a damaged storefront stop her from serving you. So Baltimore police are out there now trying to find the driver responsible for the damage. They did, in fact, find the Mercedes. WMAR-2 News is the voice for veterans, and a Maryland family and several lawmakers are now working to get a special honor for a World War II veteran who passed away. The black corporal named Waverly Woodson died 15 years ago, and he was an Army medic who is credited for saving dozens of troops on D-Day after being struck by shrapnel himself. He was awarded the Bronze Star for his heroism, but his wife and some lawmakers want him to get the Medal of Honor.
He was denied that Medal of Honor because of the color of his skin.
While hundreds of medals of honor were bestowed on heroes during that war, none at the time to black soldiers like Corporal Woodson.
Now, if President Trump grants the medal, Woodson's wife plans to donate the medal to the National Museum of African American History and Culture. You know, for the past few years, and with your help, we have been able to give books, put them in the hands of many of our area children. And despite the twists and turns that we're all experiencing in 2020, our mission is still to keep plugging along here. This is the third year for If You Give a Child a Book campaign. This was back in January of 2020. It did happen this year. We did see students go to school. And we're again teaming up with the Scripps Howard Foundation, Fulton Bank, and we're going to bring books to our children. Some who don't even have a book to call their home at home tonight. Now here's how it works. We're collecting money. You donate, we match from the Scripps Howard Foundation. Once all the money's collected, we'll go out and purchase the books at a great rate through Scholastic, and then we're going to hand out these books hopefully when everybody's back in school. So head to WMAR2news.com/books. Even $5 will make a huge donation, a huge difference to make sure that every child becomes a reader. How about a little back to school fun, huh? A couple of Baltimore City students made a music video about coming back to school this year. Take a listen.
And it's happening today. Then I say it don't gotta be a race. Then we both.
Oh, it's called Mask On, and it was performed by 11-year-old Christian who just graduated from Federal Hill Prep, started at Francis Scott Key today. His little sister Lily is 7, her first day of 2nd grade at Fed Hill Prep, and their mom says they couldn't have done it without the support of Sharp Kids, family and volunteers at Sharp leading the whole community enrichment program. Mask On. Now it's weather on. Here he is, Patrick P. Patrick.
Yeah, I saw that on Twitter earlier today. Eddie tweeted that out. I know folks are not too happy with me. Our stretch of beautiful, picture-perfect weather is starting to come to an end. It's not going to be horrible, but we are looking at more clouds and rain chances, at least some light rain tomorrow, and then more showers and thunderstorms likely for Thursday. And then, unfortunately, we're going to see some rain trickling in and out of the forecast, at least for the next few days. Things finally get real sunny and dry as we head towards Tuesday next week.
We'll see you tomorrow. That is all for us. Jimmy Kimmel is up next. Don't forget to start your morning off with Good Morning Maryland at 4:30. Wear a mask, keep your distance, and we will be safe. See you tomorrow.